big Thresh players.
Banned.
Never mind.
Get that out of here.
Never mind. It's out of there. First one coming out, Cassidy will be the next. Lulu onto the board as well. We're seeing those kind of comfort picks on the top. Not really pinpointing anybody out here, but making sure they don't have to deal with it in the game.
Yeah, so
that one, yeah.
as well. So the supportive mid laners kind of going out of the way.
Yep.
I wonder if either one of these guys would be willing to pick Yasuo blind. Apparently not.
You say it, they ban it.
Who's
next?
to ban it? Yeah, Jax. I'm not actually sure because Ackerman hasn't shown his Jax.
2 games on the half dragon Shyvana so far. Easily keeping that lane to himself.
Quas would be pretty happy to play Mundo into Shyvana if it comes to that.
Yeah.
Don't think that's going to be a pick priority. Twitch is a very big pick priority,
Lot
at least for LMQ.
Of the junglers have made it all the way through. All of the junglers have made it through. Twitch will be the last ban.
I mean, if LMQ wants to try and blind pick Jax, they would absolutely have the opportunity to. But they end up going for Assassin City right here. Now remember, Lulu is banned out. That's one of the things people really like playing against LeBlanc, as well as Kassadin. That's another thing we saw played against LeBlanc to much effect yesterday. See LeBlanc involved in 10 out of 12 games. Picked just as much as she's banned.
See what Curse, you can see Dominate and Quas both actually discussing what is going to be happening on this one. Seeing Ackerman pick that up for Xiaowei Xiao means that LMQ again is going to continuously go hard this game. Something they can get kills with, picks with anywhere. See if Curse can kind of put a pitch in that cog if they can throw an Eve somewhere into the mix.
Yeah, Eve's been banned a whole bunch so far in the LCS, and I mean, the Lucian here is a smart pick. Definitely an NA. The 280 carries that everyone is prioritizing are Lucian and Twitch. And then it feels like there's a big gap between the next ones.
Yep.
But we were talking about this after the games yesterday as a group here of casters, and we don't really think there's a huge drop as far as 80 carries go. It's just the familiarity and the training these guys have put into Lucian and Twitch is what's making them the high priority picks. But it's really more of a luxury than a necessity to pick them early.
They go for the luxury on the side of Curse for sure. And Morgana's somewhat being hovered over right now. Ackerman's going to go for 3 straight games now on that Shyvana.
Yeah, well, don't break, don't...
For 4 straight, I should say, sorry.
It's not broken, so don't fix it. Don't fix it if it's not broken.
Yeah, there you go.
Got to talk your way through some of these at the end. It makes perfect sense. I feel like Curse will probably end up going Mundo in the top lane to go against that. That's a matchup Quas is really experienced in. There's also a really good chance we get to see lane swaps in this one. Not entirely sure what Facility's going to break out as 80 carry. Maybe a Caitlyn to go against Lucian. That has been his other favorite, especially in solo queue, when the Lucian or the Twitch isn't available. The question is, how aggressive is Curse going to go with their team comp?
Very slow on the pickups here for Curse.
I'd say those aren't their picks. I'm going out on a limb.
Just possibly. Boy, he does not shy away from that Akali. Himself would get an assassin against an assassin, but they decide to switch it back around. Quas liking Trundle, liking Jax.
Yeah.
Just those top laners.
I do
Goes
like
for the Jax this time, though.
Yeah. Jax against Shyvana. If he gets a small window against Shyvana and he's a good Jax player, we'll generally see him take over in the game here. Besides against the Mundo, which is a champion he is more familiar with. But the Jax has definitely shown much more power as of late and is often banned or first picked away. Getting it this late into the draft is kind of a steal.
Actually, forgot who I was talking to yesterday about it, but I was like, where'd Annie go? Why Annie?
Yeah.
And there she is, getting picked up. Definitely, I think the answer was it's kind of the all-in initiation. Once you want to initiate, you're pretty much there, and people are liking the safety a little bit more.
Yeah, now you can just use Morgana, initiate from 1300 range away with the Dark Binding, and then go. But Annie, she goes, she goes.
Oh, boy.
It's probably going to get mid lane against LeBlanc. He's got to be careful to pick something a little bit defensive so he doesn't get LeBlanced. He's picked Syndra into that many times before.
He hovered Syndra the other day as well, just yesterday.
They like giving Boy a nice one-on-one lane advantage. That would be pretty nice too. That makes the most sense.
Dive onto, wow, that makes a really great fight competition coming in here for Curse. And that's really where they excel. It's when they get themselves into that group and they're able to take a strong fight. And we've said before, Curse is a team that is able to win fights when they're down in gold. It's just getting it when they actually have the advantage and making the right moves from there.
They've been some really tough losses for Curse. And what they're doing with this team composition is they're trying to make sure that late game their scaling doesn't fall off. They have really powerful late game fighters there with Kale and Jax. Although they are a little auto attack reliant, Kale and Jax really need that. They need to keep their distance from Lee Sin to avoid that attack speed, so that's actually going to be really huge in this one. But I do like the Curse team composition overall. They're preying on their solo lanes, doing quite well.
Yep, so let's check out your predictions here over at LOLesports.com, where 81% of you are saying that LMQ are going to win and make it a 4-0 Super Week.
A lot of LMQ hype coming in, but you can also send your predictions with each twist and turn of the game to @LOLesports, and then use the hashtag LMQWin or CRSWin, and we will be updating that Twitter poll throughout the game.
So we'll see how Cop does coming in on Lucian here. He definitely went back for a big comfort pick on Misfortune the other day, and the team felt comfortable with it. And that kind of tells me that Curse is still feeling things out. Let's say, can we do that? Is there enough safety for you to go back to that utility AD carry that'll kind of shred damage from the back line? And it didn't, but they need to figure out what will work.
Yeah, getting interrupted by that Shyvana ultimate, if you think back to the day one, was not good for them. And honestly, Curse is in this really difficult situation where they actually feel like they've improved quite a lot with the acquisition of X Special and the strong finish they had to the spring split. But everyone else in the league may have actually improved a little bit more, compared to where Curse is at. So they really need to prove themselves, and it kind of sucks to be Curse right now if you're not winning these games, just because they have a potential to go 0-4, even though they're still a good team.
Yeah. It's just as you said, frustrating losses. The possibility being there at every turn to take the win. We'll see if they can put that in. That's the second time he's done that. It's just a little love tap at the beginning of the game.
No name starts games. It's like, just so you know, I skilled up Q.
Always.
Don't expect anything special.
Throw in at Xiao Xiao, just to let you know.
Lower his hit rate to make himself look like a more vulnerable jungler.
Already got the ward down going from X Special. It's going to be towards their blue, so they will leave that breadcrumb so they can make their way towards the top side. Looks like they really want to stop. LMQ actually has done this more than once and just kind of set up for defense. They're okay with saying we can go completely even in the early game.
They have a lot of confidence in their lane's ability to just straight up win. And it's shown through these times, and that's basically what you do when you set up a couple river wards and then just let the other team invade. You're setting yourself up for counter invades and hopefully not getting yourself caught.
Good shift in the percentage there. Everybody waking up and getting themselves on social media. And it looks like Curse is still going to go for the invade. A little bit allowed here. Ackerman making his way to safety. And they do make the first move. So Curse, with something in mind, going to activate for it. Very good ping by LMQ. I thought they were going to try to get him on the way out.
Yeah, all the trinkets out as well. You can see they even put the ward in the lane to try and see where LMQ is going to be sending their Caitlyn. Also note that there's a boot start on X Special. He really wants to be able to just get in range for the stun, and that actually speaks to me that they're going to either be ganking his lane a lot or trying a little bit of a 3 or 4v1 at the start just to get the stuns and maybe an early first blood.
Great early wards. Special doesn't even see that one going through the brush, but LMQ makes the right move and the easier move. It's safer to do this for both teams. They're going to go ahead and get that blue up.
So Curse also just saw Vasily walk into the top lane, which will mean they actually are going for the lane swap here as Cop runs all the way through the jungle just to get that. They don't want to lane against Vasily's Caitlyn. They'd much rather swap and then just try and farm it out. AD carries in general have been farming a lot better this split when compared to last because it's not getting fast pushed down anymore. They're just getting about 7 minutes of farm time in all of their lanes. So their CS and 10 has improved across the board.
Ackerman looks like he's trying to get that wave crushed in as well. So that shared XP going to Quaz and Dominate. He got a bit of a wave to himself. We'll see if he can sustain now in that 2v1 situation. It's going to be kind of tough for him. Keep an eye on Void Boy. Saw, I think it was Pole Belter leveling the E, going back and forth with what he would level. We'll see what Void Boy does on his in the mid lane.
We've seen different Yasuo skill orders by both these guys.
Yeah.
Maybe different Kale skill orders as well. It depends how tradey he wants to get with LeBlanc. So far, 1 point W, 1 point E on Kale. No surprise, because it's all about shoving LeBlanc in early on in the game. No one really matches Kale's shove at this point.
Keep an eye on how No Name plays as well as Xiao Xiao here. Somebody who always gets a ton of farm, and No Name allows that to happen in his jungle. These guys can play it very cooperatively And here for one, gets the ethereal
dangerous.
chain on. That's going in. He can get the Tempest down. The cripple as well. Already flashed it out. The ignite, the auto attacks. He has to flash. One last hit. And Dominate will not be in range.
I mean, that's just LMQ picking on Voyboy's playstyle right there. And even just the playstyle of Kale in general, wanting to shove in the lane by level 3, maybe backing and buying an early item, or even getting ward control up at that point. And he just left himself vulnerable. As soon as he went past the halfway point, big skill shot land by Xiao Zhao really keyed all that off, and then No Name was really just there to secure the kill. Great job.
Very fast play. LMQ giving themselves a quick upper hand. Special onto Ackerman here as he gets in range for a bit of experience.
Quick flash. That was a nice job of hiding in the brush for an extended period of time by Special, making Ackerman think he was safe for a little while. And they can freeze that lane out and get a little bit of experience on him.
So it looks like Quas, depending on what he's gotten in the jungle, he is 11-6 on Ackerman, getting bullied in this bottom lane. He is trying to get golems, and he's almost dying to it right now. 3-2, 3 now for more in this top lane. We'll see how they get out of the lane. They said it was going to be hard to play against Cop and Special, so...
Yeah, so they're not even doing that.
Right.
That's the point. They're just going to their own lane. Something I really do want to touch on again, though, is just that mid lane gank by LMQ. Because they've been attacking the mid lane more than the other teams in the North American LCS early on, especially with the way these teams are playing the start of the game, where they have the AD carrying support basically alone in a lane free farming, and then you have double junglers. That actually, in theory, should make the mid lane more of a battlefield, because you have 2 or potentially 3 roamers if you count the support as well. And 4 people could arrive in the mid lane at any given time. Teams haven't really started doing that yet, and I honestly don't think mid laners are ready to get ganked this much, because I really do think mid lane ganks are going to increase exponentially as teams get more and more used to this strategy. LMQ's ahead of the game, though, gets the first blood onto Voyboy.
And it almost just plays into LMQ's hands. You heard them saying, well, our lanes are so confidently strong that they can do whatever they want. So it's not No Name trying to repair and fix things. They do whatever they want, and usually that's been mid lane, striking first. Bit of damage here. Dominate can't even get that close. No Name, right spot at the right time. He's trying to stave off a bit of damage.
Ackerman saved his teleport as well after getting harassed down. He knew the lane was going to freeze for a while, and he's just kind of farming away. This is beneficial for the Shyvana team when the Jax gets denied so heavily on farm early on in the game. Shyvana will scale much better off of levels alone than the Jax will, whereas Jax needs a few items before he really gets going. Quas is doing his best to just farm the jungle camps, but Ackerman looks to be stronger if they end up fighting around level 6 or 7.
Yep. Teleport is coming back up. We've seen some pretty early dragons here at the start of the summer split, but it looks like both teams are pretty content. Just trying to get a little bit more out of these lanes before they go for an objective. More, even just putting on that mental game of harass and trying to give Quas a hard time. He's level 5 though, they're getting up there. Voyboy and Xiao Zhao, who actually just hit level 6, goes in onto Voyboy, knowing he can get that extra damage.
Think about that play, though, by Moore. That was really aggressive. They're against an Eve, and he's harassing the double golems. It's like there's no fear for anyone on LMQ of Dominate right now, and he needs to kind of make something happen so they start respecting his play. This is what we were talking about before the game, how LMQ will just play aggressively because that's the way they play, and they're forcing the other team to stop it before they're willing to stop.
They just keep coming at you. Curse even said it themselves in the video. Getting some wards down. Special and Cop, as Special said, coming off a team solo mid, they would never really go aggressive unless they knew where the jungler was. Wards are going to assist that, but so far they've been keeping it pretty safe unless Dominate comes down. Here we are, actually, not a super early dragon. They wait another minute and a half, but they are going to try and get that early advantage from that kill.
This is something that Curse has been doing all season long. If we count the spring split, it seems like every game we watch Curse, they're getting the first dragon between 6 and 8 minutes. They're really good at that. And it does sacrifice their lanes a little bit. We'll see if that costs them, because you can see already now, because, you know, Jax went down there. There's a bunch of free time for everyone else. 17 CS on the mid lane, 52 CS on the mid lane, 17 on the top lane for Quas. They're going to need to play a little bit of catch up despite getting that dragon gold that will help everyone out a little bit.
And LMQ does not like the fact, or maybe want to work on something, the fact that they just lost Dragon, and they say, we'll go in here. We also take more as well. If there's a fight, we'll be able to come out on top. So taking a little bit if they lose a little bit. LMQ trying to play reactively here, so Curse gets the better of him on that one. Red buff is out, though.
Exactly. It's just a straight up buff trade. The ward over the wall there by Special tips Dominate off. Team play across the board there. getting a red buff trade unless No Name would have went straight forward, but he's not exactly tipped off. He's going to see him in that ward because Dominate is not stealth yet. He'll know his red's gone.
Ooh, I like the play by Curse, sending AD and support in the top lane, seeing that Silly had not bought. They forced him back. It looks like they're not trying to... Oh, they are freezing it. I was going to say they were pushing it, but nope. They freeze it right back. Ackerman's going to take that, and they'll go to the bottom lane. So LMQ skirting around the issue here.
Yeah, just a bunch of farming from both guys. As far as the AD carries are concerned, they're doing the full lane swaps at the moment. A little surprising. The AD carries are even in items, especially with no dragon on the board. It's smart of Curse to go up top. They're probably hoping that LMQ actually plays it exactly this way because they want to be able to get that turret down. It'll be interesting to see how well they can push in Ackerman.
Another game where Voidboy is forced to stay mid. Intervention goes down, and that means Xiao has the next kill coming up for himself, forcing Voidboy to back.
That first pick LeBlanc, Riv, for
Xiao.
This guy has performed on every single mid lane pick he's done so far.
And it's not the first time he's blind picked either. He did his Asua too.
So not only has he gotten that kill, we're 9 minutes 30 seconds in. His CS at 10 is looking to be massive right there. He's at 88. With the next minion wave on the way, looks like his 90 is going to be what he sits at for a CS at 10 minutes, which is well above average.
Keeping himself from being pushed into the turret. It's already hard enough to farm with a LeBlanc, but
oh
my word, that is the kill coming in as the Ethereal Train procs it out. Double buffs now for mid. That means he's getting a refresh on that one, I believe. No, it was just a red from his own.
Dominate caught completely off guard by that damage. He gets up to 93 CS in 10 minutes, as well as being 1-0 and 1. Xiao, the true carry here of LMQ. We knew it was kind of him and Vasily each game. They're really embodying that two-carry playstyle more than others, with Ackerman just chipping in as that tank, and it's working fantastically for them.
What great play. Quas trying to get in to do the AoE on Counter-Strike. Dark binding immediately. And they're just going to play this one tit for tat until they grab the turret, and they'll wait for most of that experience to be drowned now. 2-0 now, a bit of an 800 gold lead for LMQ, and that's really all they need to start putting the pedal to the metal in the way they play.
Yeah, No Name actually trying to stop that pink ward. Let's see what they can do.
That's going to be a Force Flash Rick special. He has his Ignite and Flash up.
No, they're trying to bait
and dominate. Yep. Ackerman going very low. Cop getting some good damage out with the calling. Dashes forward, finalizes it as he gets hit backwards. No Name not quick enough on the kit.
And this is kind of textbook Curse in the first two games of the split. They're falling behind a little bit early by 1,000 gold or so, and that's when they make the play, but it never quite pulls them all the way ahead. This is just like their first two games in the split so far. I think we're in for another good one between them and LMQ. Curse needs to come out on top this time, though, to avoid starting 0-3.
We'll get money down on this turret. They should just definitively take it. Cop's going to wait as much as he can, though. Same thing with Vasily in the bottom lane. 2 minutes on to Dragon. Everybody's going to be prepped for that, looking at ultimates or summoner spells. It does look like this Curse will be an advantage.
Yeah, and another look at this one. It was actually the reverse of the normal pink ward bait that we get to see. And because Ackerman and No Name balled up so much, Cop does a whole bunch of pass-through damage on that Lucian. Dominate didn't even become involved. They basically won that straight up 2v2, so not a good idea for No Name to jump over that wall and try to duel with Ackerman. Remember, Ackerman is the underfarmed team member right now, whereas the farm is being channeled into Cop. He is much stronger and showed you why right there.
Kind of see LMQ. They do try to take off a little more than they can chew sometimes, but they don't do it too many times. They'll realize that mistake, and they probably won't make it again throughout the rest of the game. The turret's been dropped by Curse, so they're kind of trying to keep that map pressure equal for now. Not as many forward wards as they had before, but in the top lane, Ackerman and Quas now putting themselves on an island. Should be a pretty good battle for the next 20 minutes between those two.
Yeah. Finally, we get to see the lanes shake out a little bit.
Yeah.
Quas has the turret at his back, so a little bit more safety. However, he's down in CS, and Ackerman is looking to bully, but a level 8 Jax can definitely trade a little bit of damage back. Also, Quas is the one with lifesteal, so the overall sustained battle would be won by him if they have an extended fight. That's why Ackerman wants to shove up as quickly as possible, and then just kind of get out of there.
Really liking this composition from LMQ. Xiao finishing the Deathfire Grasp. If they can't really catch the fight, you have Ace in the hole to finish off that guy. They really have a scary teamfight team here. But Curse is known for their team fighting as well. Dominates calls to go in and go strong. It's really something he's known for.
Yeah, you can definitely see LMQ trying to make the plays now. I think they need to be a little bit cautious that they don't let this game get too late. Because the Kale plus Jax on the other side, you know, despite Voidboy getting beat up a little bit by Xiao Xiao, he's still at 108 CS. He still has his Nashor's Tooth completed already, and we know Kale can do crazy things late in the game. This Dragon fight's going to be huge, though. LMQ has the vision advantage already, which makes it very dangerous. Nice stun over the wall.
Oh. Got out the stun as well from Special.
Dragon. That's all they needed. I mean, he ate the stun from X Special. There wasn't immediate follow-up. And it's a stun and an ultimate on the block for a Dragon. As long as they can rotate mid here and stop this push, it's going to be difficult.
They got the damage. No Sheen yet coming in for Lucian, so they're not going to have super big hits coming in on the front end of that turret, but they do get it down to just below half. Use Tibbers as a bit of a tank, but really good coordination. LMQ was about to back, but they all said, let's kind of shift mid and save our turret.
All the while, though, Vasily was actually farming the bottom lane, so that was a 5v4 defense. Kurtz was down Tibbers, but they still respected the play from LMQ enough to not trade back the turret. It means LMQ gets a Dragon for pretty much nothing. And on to Voidboy again.
Xiao Xiao going crazy. Look at 140 CS for Xiao Xiao, 134 for Vasily, and he was in a lane farming with his support, pretty much free farming.
Yeah.
Xiao Xiao has been fighting Voidboy and still is up. Amazing, just incredible.
Goes to show you the skill of this guy in the mid lane. Hopping inside, then
playing
sweeping.
the fog of war games now.
Yeah, knowing that Voidboy can't see him right here. There's a chance he thinks he went back. He might be going in for something big here. Oh, that was smooth. So what he actually did is he cleared the wave with distortion so he could land his chain. Yep. Voidboy didn't have the safety of the minions, but Voidboy burned his ultimate right away, which is as he should, and ended up taking no damage from it. So it was actually a better play by Voidboy. Slick on both sides.
Yeah, very slick indeed. Nashor's Tooth finish for Voidboy. We'll see what build he continues to go with. Leaving himself without boots, using that heal to keep himself safe with the movement speed. Coming up on 16 minutes in the game. LMQ has just taken Dragon, so they're pretty much happy with the gold they've received, the items they've just created, and they're waiting for Curse to kind of push in and try and maybe pressure themselves into this mid turret. Curse has seemed to want it for the past few minutes, sending more 3 or 4 mid. Ackerman now to the top.
It's definitely a more passive LMQ than we've seen.
That's true.
They have went for a few plays early on in the game, but especially when that play backfired in the top lane between No Name and Ackerman. That was the last of the aggression we really saw. Although Curse is, in turn, playing very defensively, which would really make LMQ kind of overcommit if they want to make anything happen.
Right.
Which is why we're seeing this 3-kill game 16 minutes in.
And that's almost something that you would expect. Curse sees LMQ come in 3-0, beat out CLG the way they did in such a back-and-forth game. You know this is not going to be easy. Mistakes are made. You fall behind so much farther than usual. Ackerman should be good on the burnout on this. Voidboy also doesn't have too much far vision past that.
Especially with Curse picking such a late-game composition here with Jackson Kale. They have every reason to play this one passively early on in the game. And just kind of hope to avoid the LeBlanking as they're moving around. They've done a pretty good job so far, even though Xiao Xiao is farming up a storm. Voidboy, because he went to the side lane, is catching up his own farm, but he, in a sense, took it away from Quas. That was farm that Quas could have been able to pick up, and now Quas is stuck at 75 on Jax, who arguably needs just as much farm as Kale. One of the tricky things about picking two such heavily scaling solo laners, there's only so much farm to go around.
Something we were looking at for Xiao Xiao.
Oh, Quas
himself loves to get all that CS.
So I imagine Xiao Xiao would jump over the wall and then No Name would safeguard to him if they decided to go for something. Quas is playing this one real careful. They make sure they're not sitting on a ward. They're going to wait for their cooldowns once again. And I feel like as soon as Quas starts feeling a little bit safe, they're going to want to go for him. They're spending a lot of time to set up this kill.
Safest farming NA.
He is being so careful. He
Auto
knows
attack brush.
LeBlanc has a
Auto attack
DFT
brush.
and has seen him a little bit ago. So this is very smart by Quas.
2 levels up.
Full vision. Yeah. Xiao Xiao gets bored.
Ooh.
Well played by Quas.
Just giving a wave. Just giving him a wave.
Sense.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, Xiao Xiao definitely having a little bit of fun here in the bottom lane. Quas trying to get the CS he can. And I got to be careful. Like you said, they're not going as hard as usual. We know LMQ to be like a team that just keeps shooting on the net. No matter if it's going in or not, the shots keep coming.
Yep. They're just going to keep trying and trying. And oftentimes, like that,
the shots
for instance,
just keep coming.
Eventually, it's going to go in. And that point, and he gets the kill on a Quas. They will try the same play again and again and again, even if it's not working. As we said, I mean, Quas was just hiding in that brush. Instantly feels safe. DFG right as the first chain lands. He didn't get the full damage, but he got quite likely enough. Finishing up Quas with that last auto attack.
Curse. They look hungry now. They were moving as a pack. That was a ferocious little move towards the Dragon Pit, but it looks like they back off. They know there's a minute, and they'd rather have what they need for that fight and then possibly taking something after. LMQ is going to get themselves. Nope, Moore actually stops the back. Curse formulates in mid. So LMQ wanting that Dragon as well. They did just get the last one. But being able to take Quas down, he's still not as big as he needs to be. So this fight for Dragon is going to be very hard for Curse.
Yeah, and Voidboy also doing a slightly different build than we've seen on Kale.
Yeah, not Spirit Greaves.
Both in skill order and in item build. He's went for max CDR with the cooldown boots and the Nashor's Tooth, and he's also maxing his heal second. It's almost like he's just trying to survive Xiao in lane to make sure his ultimate's always up every time LeBlanc's ultimate is up, instead of going for the kill pressure. He's going to have a much lower amount of burst damage because he's not putting points in Q, and he's also not going to have the teamfight shred that you would gain from the Hurricane and the Berserker Greaves that all the other Kales have been doing recently. It just means it's going to be even longer until Voidboy becomes relevant in this game.
Was forced to play your champion out of pure utility. Right on.
And then he still takes a truckload of damage afterwards.
Yep. Can't do much about it. He has the intervention, so it's going on somebody else if they even want to try this. Dominate could maybe get a nice ultimate down here. Agony's Embrace looking to hit. They spread beautifully. LMQ just splits. Allow nothing to happen.
Such confidence by LMQ. They man-moded that Dragon 4v5 knowing they could teleport in. And Curse respected the teleport almost a little bit too much. It was going to be delayed if they decided to pile in there. They were low on the Dragon, but Curse respected it because they didn't have proper vision control and they were afraid of it. And then even when he started the teleport, they backed away before he even had to finish it, allowing Ackerman to push up the wave even more so and granting LMQ yet another advantage.
31.3 to 27.4. They did not let Curse have a lead for very long, or even close to a lead for very long. 3-1 in kills. Quas is going to be taking the red. Ackerman's going to be staying top lane. So now LMQ really in the driver's seat of whatever they want to do. Looking at a 1-3-1 right now, and all the lanes are in control.
And that is LeBlanc's brush now. Xiao has claimed ownership. It's a really nice strategy with LeBlanc that we're seeing more teams do now, especially when the enemy team is quite squishy. Oh, dear. That didn't work.
Desperation move.
That was their attempt to get aggressive. Now they're down Flash Ultimate. Xiao is seen in a ward, but he's going to want to go for something regardless. Not after that sweep. Anyway, what we were talking about with the LeBlanc split pusher is even though she doesn't kill turrets, she provides an unfightable 1v1 presence. The only person they maybe put against is Kale, and he can block the ultimate once and continue the wave clear, but he can't return a kill onto LeBlanc. We just saw he took out Jax, which means Quas can no longer go to that lane. No way Cop can go to that lane if he can kill a Jax. And it just means that that's a lane that Curse can't farm it safely without putting a large part of their team over there.
And that's kind of where you get the short end of the stick, though, because then you go mid or you go top, and you can't farm in those lanes either because of just how LMQ plays it. Intervention to come out already. Xiao will have all that back up within just a few seconds, but Voidboy's those heals now.
And this is why he did the build. Look at his cooldown on his ultimate. It's at 38 seconds there. You can see on the bottom left of the screen where Xiao, his ultimate will be up a little bit faster. He's only got about 10 seconds left on it. But unless he does it immediately, it's a much smaller window with which he can kill Voidboy. And that's really all Voidboy's trying to do is survive that, because it's the only thing they can really do against Xiao. He wants to go in immediately once again, though. Watch for it.
Ult just came back up. There's the 1-2 shot. Voidboy felt he was a little safe. And the full distortion on that one is Voidboy putting out a bit of damage in those few shots.
Yeah, but he still has to go back to
base.
They did protect the turret, so that's the mini game that Xiao and Voidboy are going to be playing. I think if you're Curse, you're actually okay with those trades. Voidboy played it really damn well. He kept his farm up, he saved the turret, and he made Xiao go back to base. That's all you can ask for.
So what do you do as a jungler in this situation? Because it's kind of a toss-up. You just become with the pack.
Dominate's basically been irrelevant because LMQ has had so much pressure in places. Without the follow-up, he's not going to be able to create kills. X Special needs to be able to land the stuns while Dominate's there to actually make plays happen. And he just hasn't had the presence. Look at all the wards inside of Curse's jungle. And with a LeBlanc roaming on the other side, he's too scared to go in his boost side jungle. It's just map control of LMQ keeping Dominate at bay.
229 and 240 to the 207 and 200. Those mids and the 80 carries. Xiao Zhao and Vasily always putting up big numbers in that column. Ackerman surely winning his lane as well at 161 to 139. So the words that LMQ speak in the beginning in their video, they are true. They are confident they will win their lanes, and 99% of the time they have, being 3-0 here in the summer split.
Monstrous CS numbers, great jungle control. They're really just slow playing this game and hoping that they accumulate a big enough advantage to overcome the Kayle and Jax late game. It's actually a little bit risky the way they're playing here, but Curse isn't allowing them windows with which to aggress unless LMQ is really stupid about it.
Definitely the first time that LMQ hasn't gone for another turret or something else. It seems like they just keep gunning. Have the safety on for now. They're waiting. 2 minutes on Dragon, maybe that.
Yeah, but I mean, look at what they're doing right now. They have control over both
eating
jungles.
everything, yeah.
The amount of golden experience they are getting ahead of Curse is quite extraordinary at this point. Just look at the death cap onto Xiao Zhao and the CS numbers on Vasily. He's going to be completing his last Whisper probably within the next 3 minutes. He's sitting on 1,000 gold right now. And then they're really going to be able to start getting aggressive. I think they're just waiting for their big item breakpoints, knowing they're generating so much more gold than Curse right now. Then they'll get aggressive. They're playing it smart.
Although they are going for kills, it's a little bit different of a game. That can be said because Curse is avoiding dying with slivers of health, but I believe lowest kill game for LMQ almost here. It's usually Vasily, Xiao Zhao, and Ackerman with some kills at this point, but Xiao Zhao is just taking off a little more they can chew once again. That's going to be a very nice shutdown for Voyboy. Great gold going to him.
I mean, think about what Xiao Zhao has been doing to Voyboy. It was just the same plan in the different lane. That time, Curse was really ready for it. They said, all right, when Voyboy goes to a lane, LeBlanc's going to be there. He's going to try to DFT spike. He's going to use distortion. As soon as I ult, he's going to jump back. Then he's going to try to go again. Curse can see that plan. And this time, they came up with a counter for it. We'll see if that's enough, because it is just one kill.
Let's see who bites back harder on this one. Looks like Ackerman's going to take a good amount of damage as Quas. Even his play seemed like he knew he wanted to win that fight a level down. Dragon's Descent is up. Teleports actually down for Quas, but up for Ackerman here.
But Ackerman can't heal back up. Quas should actually jump on him, like right now.
like right now, and cause that Dragon's Descent to have to happen. A good amount of minion damage, yeah.
He's worried about people waiting for him. I mean, they're respecting LMQ an absurd amount right now, thinking that all the aggression is being backed up for reasons. But that's not the way LMQ plays. Half the time, there's no one behind them. The other half the time there is, though, which makes them so hard to play against in these high-pressure situations.
Well, if you try to play like that all the time, then you're going to strike that fear into your opponent's mind. And that's exactly what we see Curse kind of wavering on right now. Slowly getting the vision that they can. They're not even approaching Dragon. They feel like LMQ is just going to fly over the wall. They're being very cautious. 3 sweepers at the same time going on both sides. Dominate. An intervention stops the rest of that damage. Beautiful hitting special. Lands the final flash. And Timbers that he needed to start this one off. Ackerman's going to get some good damage here. Voyboy needs to get out of that damage in the middle of the fight. Turns around. Going to start using that blue buff once again. That now goes to No Name. And it looks like Moore and Vasily are stuck in between the entire team of Curse. A shot over. No counter-strike from Quas as it's on cooldown, and they will not be able to follow here. So they're just going to try to get a little bit of ground.
It's still a 2-for-1, and for the second fight in a row, they are piling onto Xiao Zhao. They're waiting for him to commit, and then they are countering with that. Great job by Voyboy, as well as Maxed Heal kept him alive, actually, just long enough for that fight. And as soon as he reses, his ultimate's going to be back up again. So really nice job there. Watch how, as they go for Dominate, Voyboy barely reaches them for that. And X Special, it was a team plan. They had made the call. Wait for Xiao Zhao to come in, and then pile on. It's exactly what they do. They get the kill, and it ends up being a 2-for-1.
Curse does it again, coming from behind in gold to take a fight in their favor. Not much ground can be gained from that one. A fight in the mid with no waves pushed, but the Dragon still sitting here, and this actually looks quite scary. There we go, the smite coming in. Dominate was able to get there. Xiao Zhao was just on the end, and that could have got scary, but Curse brings it within 4.
So strange, Riv. Curse is really good at making plays when they're behind.
Yeah.
This happened to all these games. If they can only get a handle on their early game, it's almost the opposite of how they were playing last split, where they'd have a good early game, be even, then make a few mistakes and start losing it. Maybe that's X Special's mid-game shot calling coming into effect, but they're not doing it in the early game. It's such a tough situation to be in because they've made a couple good plays, but at the end of the day, they're still down 4,000 gold. They're still in position to lose this game, in a sense, despite making a lot of really nice plays. it's a shame that they're playing so many close games. This is the one they really need to win. Otherwise, they're just going to get demoralized in the long run.
Yeah. This one, not exactly at the level of super stressful. Everybody's doing what they need to in this game. Quite close, to say the least. 4 turrets to 2. Not too much map pressure really being super gained by LMQ. They have it, but they're not really forcing it, as we've been saying. Getting their wards down now, it seems like they realized they took a little too much time to activate on something. So they're going to go ahead, continue to take back this jungle, move on to the turrets.
Yeah, you're right. They maintain the jungle control for the most part. Boy with the 40% CDR, though, and not spamming his spells. Doesn't really need the blue buff. Could be another reason he went for the cooldown boots. He's working towards that Void Staff. That's when Boy's really going to be getting his damage. Quas actually getting some free time to farm now, up to 180 in the side lane. And that just means LMQ has to up their game as well. They're going straight for Baron, knowing that Curse has now opened up a bit of farming opportunity, and they need to pull Curse towards them before Curse gets too strong.
30-minute Baron coming up on the clock. No Name making sure that everybody stays at bay. He gives everyone a bit of knowledge before necessary. More taking so much damage on this one, but that's to leave everybody else more always acting as the bait in these. It's not going to be the culling to take it down. The smite easily coming in for LMQ. They planned it out a few moves ahead, and they have no pressure on a Baron.
Yeah, that's been 15 minutes of ward control inside of Curse's jungle without them going for Baron. So even though we can say from the outside, oh, Curse should have known they were going for Baron, it's the time of the game where they can kill it quickly. Well, yeah, but they're also against LeBlanc, who they've been trying to systematically bait out, and Xiao is so reliably going for things. Finally, LMQ changed it up. They went for Baron at the moment where they had good ward control. And Curse, they checked it, but it was too late for them to do anything about it.
And Xiao now ridiculously big. The Void Staff completed at 289 CS. Facility actually passing him up, but he's not looking at like any magic resistance on the other side. Maybe a Chalice and a Hex Drinker. Everybody else is going to pop like a balloon.
Yeah. Real quick pop. No Aegis of the Legion coming out on Dominate. He's going more for individual tank items. He's going to want to take on Vasily, who's getting really strong. But honestly, Curse is putting a lot of stake into Voidboy's ability to intervention on the right target. Because LeBlanc can switch targets, especially when she has this much ability power, even after using one spell on someone, and still blow up another one. It's going to be a difficult team fight here for Curse, but they still can do it if Voidboy basically guesses right and outplays Xiao.
About 90% through that blue buff on Xiao. Got a good wave coming into mid here. Looks like he will go again back down towards the bottom lane. So he gives confidence to the 4 members in mid. Go back to that split push.
Yeah, it's going to be real difficult for Curse to come back here. They've punished Xiao twice, but not taken huge advantages afterwards. LMQ is looking to make their move right here. It's going to be all about whether Curse can maintain ward control to stop Xiao from just getting that one pick, because that's really what they're playing for. Doesn't quite land his chain. That's big.
Out on that one, an attempt that would really put LMQ, that's what they rely on. Taking him out would have allowed anything to happen down towards the bottom lane, turrets down. So LMQ's adjustment for now actually goes awry. They're forced to wait a little bit. Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes, so they have that to use as well. And with the upper hand of Randuin's now being created, it's going to be harder for these chases to come in for Curse in the fights they're already having trouble with.
So much trouble. No magic resist built on Quas. If he gets a little bit of magic resist, he could pose a real threat to the LMQ team as a whole. Vasily trying to keep pace, become a late game Caitlyn monster, which will happen if he gets to his 4th or 5th offensive item.
This is no doubt.
Yeah, this is the much harder turret to defend here, especially if Xiao walks around the side where No Name's actually going right now to flank. Curse is looking quite formidable in their defense.
Special has the flash, Tibbers up. And we will surely see that if he can get into range. Almost taking out Vasily there. 90 caliber net to safety for him. And LMQ continues to just soak up and deny any experience that Curse could be grabbing. We said before, Dominate not really allowed to have an effect in this game. He's kind of just been following around, hoping to get the right initiation. LMQ is such a team that does such good positioning. You can't hit Malphites on them. You can't hit anything on them. They split perfectly, and they just know how to adjust for any fight.
Good team fighting. A lot of team synergy already coming in for LMQ. Having moved down to the United States,
Something we said
play
before.
a whole season in the Challenger League. they have developed very good synergy, and it shows in their team fighting ability, and even just the way they're being patient right now. And yeah, a lot of solo plays by Xiao Xiao as well to create action, trying to make that right move.
Trying to use that culling to open up something, but the stranglehold that LMQ has right now takes down another turret, 6-3 there, with Dragon coming up nice and close to that time. They're going to be able to get a little more gold under their belt.
That's all it is, though, is gold right there. LMQ didn't really take any additional map advantages off that Baron. They got one turret, Baron, and a Dragon, so a lot of gold. They're now 8,000 gold ahead of Curse, and probably about the 95th blue buff steal we've seen that hasn't been in possession of Curse forever now.
So what is causing LMQ to stop? I mean, you have Caitlyn, you got a little bit of wave clear as well for the turrets. Why aren't they dropping these turrets?
Curse is defending really well. Additionally, Ackerman isn't necessarily tanky enough to ignore the turret. They are waiting for Xiao Xiao to get picks in either side lanes or before fights, but Voyboy's doing a really good job of preventing that. It's really just also that Curse is giving up so much that LMQ is just kind of taking what is there instead of trying to overforce a play. Something that Curse is probably banking on them to do. There's been once or twice where Xiao Xiao has actually overforced and has gotten them killed twice, which is going to curb their aggression even more so. That's why this game is reacting so slowly. Curse is making good plays.
8,000 gold down, and it looks like they will start to try pushing down middle, but LMQ is going to force them back right away. They'll see Ackerman in the bottom lane and have to send someone down there. Quas might clear this, or it's just going to be Voyboy. Yep, no teleport down. Wow, half HP coming from that shot of Vasily.
Yeah, well, you can see the build he's put together. It's 342 attack damage, so that Ace of the Hole is doing 1,188 damage. There's no armor being built onto Cobb, so it's hitting him pretty hard. But look at the healing from Voyboy. Yeah. That should be up by the time they get to these turret siege.
Nice chunk of HP back onto Cop. No Name clears out any wards, so their escape, if necessary, is a clean one. Teleport could come in from Ackerman in the bottom lane, but I'm sure he would just run through the base as usual, start wreaking havoc from inside. See how Curse kind of coordinates this.
Much lower scoring game for LMQ. They had very bloody first 3 games in the LCS. Curse also had a tendency last split to, when they get behind, they would just kind of give up a lot of things for their team, but that was often when they didn't have great late game scaling compositions. This time they do, so it's actually a pretty valid strategy. There's always a chance Curse could turn this one around because of the Kayle and the Jax.
So many, I feel like Voyboy has like a mini game once they get into the fight. Like any Kayle would, but people are gonna die so quickly. You have to, it's like, who do I intervention? Where's it gonna go? Like you said, the target changing is immediate.
It's almost like a penalty kick.
You have to dive. You just have to go.
You just have to dive in one direction and go for it, and just hope the guy kicks it that way.
Got it once so far. Could save on Dominate. We could see it coming up here as they push down mid lane. A great split here they have on LMQ, but that means this could leave Xiao Xiao pinching in from the backside that they aren't ready for. Get out nicely.
Xiao wants to get an assassination, but remember, Curse would be ready to dive on him. He's got that memory.
He knows now. He's like, I think it's warded.
I think they're coming for me.
Tying his shoes for this one. All right, good vision. Special putting down the pink. They make sure that they have control. Probably going to need the back here. Spend some of that gold. Leave Baron kind of in a scary spot. Still got teleport on Quas. Actually, I don't think they'll be able to back with that happening.
But then look at the heal.
Good heals.
You know, with all the ability power Voyboy has and the fact that he's got 5 points in that heal, it's healing for 416. Definitely enough.
With a bit of movement speed.
Oh, did they actually get a catch here?
Woo. Black Shield stopping that one. Does not get the passive movement speed off of W with the calling. So Cop's forced to back up there. So they use quite a bit. And they still put themselves in quite a dangerous spot. Coming from the top side is 2. And there's the teleport. He throws down the ward coming in for Ackerman, but it looks like he's going to shut that off. They did not like the situation.
The long teleport cooldown. Not the best communication there by LMQ. The first aggressive move Curse makes in about 30 minutes. And it does get them a nice cooldown. Back to farming though. There's a big wave in the top lane. Quas wants to clean that up. He's actually caught up and farmed to Ackerman.
This is actually really good for Curse. They're able to push LMQ into their own base. Now have a bit of time to breathe, farm this out. I'm sure LMQ is going to start stepping on their toes in just a few minutes. They won't give them too much time to be safe and relax. We're still looking quite a gold
Might go for Baron here. I mean, look at the items on Vasily right now. The big 4.
Wow.
80 carry items. He's really strong.
Those headshots going to be hurting if they crit.
It's going to be all about his positioning in these fights. He favors the full offense 80 carry builds. Caitlyn is very long range, but Vasily has a tendency to go in a bit too much sometimes. Depends if Curse respects her or not. Oh no, X special. He's dead.
There's
Nice
a few
intervention.
shots. Oh, the Sonic Wave brings him all the way over, but he's got to get out of that. The Dragon Kick puts him back. He'll be all right. Ackerman's
He
going to
didn't
take
even
the few
flash.
right
That
there.
was a disaster by LMQ. They burned everything, and Voyboy had the intervention on the right target. I didn't think he was in range for X special there. He didn't even have to burn flash. What a
how they
lucky Annie
coordinate.
right there. X special's lucky day. Let's see if they can turn it into something.
No name. Still waiting with the rest of the team. They know they
Do
can.
not have Kale ultimate up
Often-
right now, and they kind of have to check this. LMQ wasn't waiting in the right spot for a kill.
They always try to approach a fight with one off on the side. It's like a 4-1 side swipe. Not this time, though. Curse is able to do-si-do out of that one and keep themselves safer than usual. Voyboy pretty low on mana here, and he does not have too much regen for himself, so it looks like they're going to get out of this one. Everything's up if they do need to fight, but 13 seconds onto Dragon means that's going to be theirs. Everything they need to get back in this game is really going their way, and to have all their inhibitor turrets up right now against LMQ is a big plus.
Especially after watching all the Challenger scene and then 3 games of LMQ in the LCS, I never really thought I'd say this is a game where LMQ hasn't taken enough risks.
Right?
But it actually is, because Curse is slowly coming back in here. They're getting a lot of power onto their carries, and they scale remarkably well. Quasta went to clear that big wave. Another great amount of vision control by LMQ. They're going hard for this. X Special sees it. Will we see the fight? Where's the teleport?
Flash Tibbers would be absolutely amazing. X Special gets more vision. Teleports come in. Still watching for that Tibbers to be coming out. He's going to throw a stun on to No Name. They're still waiting for the fight. Voyboy throws down intervention.
Oh, no.
Vasily and team sitting with quite a bit of HP. That one shot taking almost X Special out to bottom with 0 HP. And it looks like they're going to slowly walk Curse home on this one. Looks like they go back for Baron, and they're just going to toy with this right now. LMQ knows they are that much bigger.
Not a good fight for Curse right there. LMQ used the vision control and then collapsed on Jax the instant he made it into the fight. Curse trying to push mid, but this is a Baron for LMQ.
Big wave in the top lane for Curse. If they were able to get this, that would mean huge things to the inhibitor, but that is not the case. Voyboy and Cop actually still doing what they can. Curse Special trying to stop out Ackerman, but that shield probably would have got himself killed on the Banshee's Veil, so he pulls out in the correct move. They still make a good move there. They have the inhibitor down.
Especially
That's
if they could
pressure.
Especially if they could get Dragon, but that's something LMQ is going to be running for immediately. Take another look at this fight though. And they got a pretty good evolve, but the follow-up wasn't there immediately. And the big difference was, look at how far back the Jax came in, right at the top of the screen. Xiao Zhao just takes him down with Vasily, and he had no impact in that fight overall. That meant that the dive from LMQ was successful in getting them through. And Curse actually gets the Dragon, but is it going to cost them an inhibitor of their own?
This could be big. That Tibbers is down. Everything was pretty much used in the last fight. Cop trying to back still. He's out towards the Dragon. Looks like they're going to get some good shots on. Vasily just keeping his eyes onto that turret. A few more shots. He's going to be the one taking it down.
Yeah.
Inhibitor for inhibitor possibly as they go back and forth.
The type of LMQ aggression that they needed to be showing about 10 minutes ago. Now they have the Baron buff. They need to be strong here and take the inhibitor down.
Banshee's Veil is given a little bit more security as they make their way into the fights. And skill shots and everything that can be fired out coming from Curse now to stave off the aggression.
Couple more hits from Vasily. They get Cop down low, and there it is.
There's the fight. Look at the calling, tickling Ackerman as he runs out. Going to be safe on that one. 43 minutes into the game. Both teams gonna knock down the front door and give them what for.
The gold is still respectable for Curse, quite honestly.
Yeah, they actually closed it. It was above 8.
Yeah, and the more gold you get, the lower the gold percentage lead is, especially as people reach 6 items.
Yeah, later in the game.
Which hasn't happened yet, but it will if this game continues on the trend that it is going.
It's close. Guardian Angel coming out for Vasily.
Yeah, a flurry of action we just saw. But really, LMQ just trading inhibitors for it.
It's almost like you kind of make LMQ mad, and then that kind of steams off as they do take something, and then they slow down. So they've kind of cooled off now that they took mid inhibitor. Ackerman's going to go ahead and farm this up in the bottom lane. 400 for Xiao as he sits right on the nose. Jeez, 43 minutes into the game.
It's a whole bunch of CS, that's for sure.
Always.
And Curse has actually channeled a lot more farm into Quas here. You can see 321 CS.
Yeah, he was down by like 60, right?
Yeah, he was down a substantial amount. That's one of the big reasons Voibo hasn't kept pace, is they've been giving the farm to Quas in the free lanes. Oftentimes because he has to teleport as well, and it's by necessity because he needs to teleport into the late game fights.
Curse waiting for a lot of things to be up here. Looks like a specials flash would be very useful. Heal won't be there for Cop, maybe there for Voiboy, but they already have the heal coming off of KLZ. A lot of things Curse needs to do exactly right. You can go to say that LMQ could make a few mistakes in the next fight, still come out on top, and that's what makes it really difficult for Curse.
Especially with the Zhonya's onto Xiao Xiao, he can get super aggressive and then still maybe escape if Curse decides to fully pull off on him. That's a lot of turret damage. It's going to force Curse to go in. Or even just burn some big cooldowns. One more wave of that, and that turret's going to be gone unless Curse gets very aggressive. I like what LMQ is doing here too, because they're making sure the super minions hit the Nexus at the time of the other minion wave. That's the way they want to time it at least, which would mean it would be a 4v5 defense, which would almost guarantee LMQ that bottom lane turret. See, Voiboy's trapped on those super minions trying to get assassinated, and they get the turret.
Doesn't go
Great
down
move.
all the way, but they are completely playing this one off the ball right now, using those minions in the mid lane, but the fight now in the bot. The inhibitor turret goes down. Voiboy, Sonic Wave, and the resonating strike connects, but everybody's backing up, trying to kite the fight. A very nice job so far. Curse looking good here. They get into the fight. Xiao Zhao in and out, almost taking down Quas in a single distortion with a Q, and it looks like they will keep it safe for now.
What a tough shell to crack Curse is putting up right now.
Yeah.
This is a very hard-fought turtle. One turret goes down, their inhibitor on LMQ side respawns, which means Curse will be getting their inhibitor back in about a minute. Take another look at this. Voiboy actually saves his ultimate here because he didn't think he was going to get the full burst of damage, and it was great because they needed his ultimate to push them back here. X-Special gets a catch onto Vasily. Mikhails cleans him up so he can still keep running away. And then it's just a matter of Curse piling on. LMQ never all into this one. And it ends up meaning they have to run away. They came for the turret, not necessarily for the fight. They get the turret, and they ended up trading pretty close.
Curse gritting their teeth on this one. They are not going to let go easy. That inhibitor is still up in the bottom lane, but an easy forced fight that LMQ can work with. Got a minute and 48 on that dragon. I don't know if really anybody's going to be needing that, or we're even going to get to it at this point. LMQ looks to make a strong push down the mid lane. Nobody else is going to the sides. It's right down the mid.
Curse wants a fight here on the flank. They're going to hope LMQ pushes up mid lane and try to attack them.
Squeeze into the right.
No, they decide better of it. I also see the builds. Voiboy and Copper both going offensive for their final item build, which, like I said, puts even more pressure on Voiboy and more control into the hands of Xiao Zhao. If they don't ultimate the right target, Xiao Zhao will instantly kill either of those guys, and that would be the game.
Slowly, look at, they can take the front of the base. Not even really worried about it. Going for Voiboy, they still pick him back. He gets taken out immediately. Moore's gonna be the bait, the one in the middle. The Zhonya's gets hit with a Tivers, and nothing happens there. Cop running for home, Dominate as well, looking for solace on the fountain, but it's not gonna happen, and that's gonna be the inhibitor. LMQ, a strong 46-minute game. Took a little bit longer than they wanted, but will go 4-0 on Super Week. Incredible play from a team. We gotta remember, didn't see any changes to the roster coming into the season either.
Yeah, they can play fast or they can play slow. Either way, it's gonna end in victory for these guys. 47 minutes, they take down Curse, move them to 0-3, and take themselves to a perfect Super Week.
One word comes to my mind, and that's going to be consistency. At the top of that list is Xiao Zhao. 350 CS over at almost every game, probably, if they had enough time.
416 this game and a 47-minute game.
Amazing.
I mean, by the end of that game, Voiboy and Cop were trying to build full offense because they had a gold deficit and they needed that power to cut through the tank line. That just opened the door for Xiao Zhao. You saw he baited out the ultimate without using his full burst. More landed the binding. It meant Voiboy is dead, and the instant that happened, the game is over.
Strong play all around from LMQ. Curse doing what they can, still having situations of coming back from behind. But overall, there wasn't even really mistakes that allowed that to happen.